Welcome to Prince Jordan House. Dictation 100 words a minute exercise number 17 in 18 non-stop जो ऑलरेडी 80 वर्ड्स a minute हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल प्रिंस जॉर्डन हाउस पे अपलोड हो चुकी है। हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं 100 words a minute. Be ready? Start. A very eventful year has just passed. The common man has reaffirmed his belief in democratic values and restored our distinction as the largest living democracy in the world. On this occasion, each one of us has to ask ourselves in all humility whether we have followed the inspiring example set by the leaders of this ancient land. Have we comprehended the new national ethos and adequately responded to it? In this context, it is disappointing that the professional classes as well as business and industry have not shown sufficient evidence of their being prepared to accept their share of national responsibility. The future is unfolding itself. What are our immediate preoccupations and aspirations for the future? The coming elections to the state assemblies afford an occasion for all political parties to prove their dedication to democracy and cleanliness in public life. What is important is not the result but how it is achieved. The campaign must be conducted with dignity only on the basis of clear-cut programs and policies. Once again, our voters will have the option of choosing not their masters but their servants. We must in the past prove ourselves a mature people, placed to the processes of democracy and the democratic way of life. Our people should be enabled to exercise their franchise without fear or hindrance. My government will guarantee this, the basic birthright of every eligible voter. Let the free will of the people prevail, and all will be well, whatever the result. This is my firm belief. Many problems loom large on their horizon. We must face them with courage and self confidence. Some frustrated and desperate elements in our society today we determined to scuttle the principles of our democratic way of life and destroy the very fabric of our secular society. While every one of us is entitled to freedom of expression in appropriate forms, no one should be permitted to drag each and every issue to the streets, excite dormant passions, advocate disrespect and law and order, and incite violence such as a policy of unwarranted confrontation backed by provocative action on the slightest pretext is a challenge we as citizens of a free country need to face this determination. Let not a few misguided and disgruntled sections of society imagine that they can hold the rest of us, the law abiding citizen, to ransom. This will not be allowed. The post emergency climate has been coaxial for reconciling fundamental freedoms and open society with egalitarianism and social justice. This is the first Republic Day with which my 10-month-old government is associated. Let us not judge them hastily. Let us rather take note of what has been achieved. It has resorted to public life the essential Attributes of a mature democracy. On the economic front, my government has sought to consultize the Gandhian concept of employment-oriented rural development and to bridge the socio-economic disparity between the urban and the rural areas. For the first time since independence, our political life is not dominated by one monolithic political party. Today, men of good conscience but with varying shades of political opinion are working together for the good of the nation. This is in itself a great achievement. Let us not insulate and exaggerate honest differences of opinion and unwittingly perhaps undermine the principles of collective responsibility on which good government is based. For once in our history, we stand united as a nation. India is one country and Indians are one people. Let no one underestimate our strength or take us for granted. Our continued progress on the agricultural front and our determination to reach the benefits of planned development to the rural areas and to the economically weaker sections of society will better the quality of life of millions of our countrymen. This requires resolute political will and determined administrative action. To our sound and broad-based scientific and technological achievements with which have been acknowledged all the world over, we have handsomely coupled research and development to take care of the nature. Today, we are recognized as one of the 10 industrially advanced nations in the world. India's very significant manpower contribution to the United Nations pool of technical and administrative talent and experience is matched only by our bilateral technical assistance programs in our friends in Africa, Southeast Asia and West Asia. While we may take justifiable pride in these achievements, we must guard against complacency in thought and action. On the other hand, we must forge ahead with hard, dedicated work and the determination to succeed not only as individuals but as a nation. Our administration believed of its recent traumatic experiences fortunate to have firm dynamic political leadership. The younger generation who join the various services which compose the broad spectrum of the administration are idealistic, motivated and have the capacity for hard work. Let us forge out of these qualities a result-oriented instrument to implement our plans for the future and to build the India of our dreams now onward. Stop next exercise number 18. Start. Mr. Deputy Chairman, let me take this opportunity to draw the attention of the government and also of the House to some of the important factors and the vital situation that is obtaining in the country today. The prices of essential commodities are soaring up like anything. The prices of even food grains and edible oils are increasing day by day and the life of the common man is becoming miserable. There is no use of preaching to the business people, black marketers and hoarders. Unless the government takes some stringent action against the black marketers and hoarders, I do not think the business community, which is bent on making money, only interested in its business of making money. The business community is not there to do any social service to the people, they are there only to make money. As such, black marketers and hoarders should be punished, and I may even ask why the MISA should not be used against such undesirable elements in the country. When the Congress government used the MISA against black marketers and hoarders, the opposition parties and political leaders wanted all the political leaders to be released from jail, and that not a single political leader should be kept inside the jail in the name of black marketing. But at the same time, they never wanted the undesirable elements to be let out. Now I appeal to the government to find out whether undesirable elements like black marketers and hoarders could be booked. At the same time, full liberty should be given to the courts of law, and the courts of law should not be closed to those people. Now we find the Prime Minister of the country making appeals to the business people. But how long do you go on making appeals to them to lower the prices? So I appeal to the government to see that the prices of essential goods are reduced so that they come within the reach of the common man. Sir, the agricultural production is going down because the prices of fertilizers are going up. The cost of agricultural production is shooting up day by day, and the backbone of the agriculturist and the small farmer having been broken today is not in a position to do his cultivation. I say that the small marginal farmer does not get credit facilities from the government or from the bank. So I appeal to the government to help the agriculturists and the small farmers so that they may do their cultivation work properly, and the agricultural production of the country is increased. We were pleading that a crop insurance scheme should be chopped out so that it would give relief to the farmer. His crop has to depend on the vagaries of nature. Sometimes there are droughts, and sometimes there are heavy floods and all that. So there should be a crop insurance scheme. I hope the government will consider this matter. Then there is the question of excise duty on BDs. I do not know why the government did not leave this item. BD is used by the commonest man, and it is not a luxury item. I appeal to the government that even at this late stage they should reconsider their stand. They should not be dogmatic on this matter, and they should not take it as a prestige issue. After all, BD is being consumed by the communist man. Lakhs and lakhs of people are dependent on BD for their livelihood. They are working as BD workers in BD factories. So I appeal to the government that the excise duty on BDs should be reduced, and there should be no tax on BDs. Sir, I may also bring to the notice of the government another important matter of the Karnataka state. In Karnataka state, the constitutional machinery has failed today, and the central government has appointed judge to go into the corruption charges against the Chief Minister of Karnataka. This is the first time that a chief minister has challenged the authority of the central government to appoint a judge against his will. The chief minister says that the central government has got no authority to appoint a judge against his will. Now the matter is pending in the Supreme Court. Not only that, the Karnataka Chief Minister appointed his own judge to go into the corruption charges against him and his own officers to place the records before the judge appointed by him. That thing is going on in Karnataka. Apart from this, rebel ministers have come up. The chief minister and the ministers are collectively responsible to the people at large. But what is going on there? The chief minister has no confidence in his own ministries. They are known as rebel ministers. Neither have they resigned from the Karnataka cabinet, nor has the chief minister shunted them out. These are the affairs of the Karnataka state. I plead the central government to take appropriate steps to run the government machinery smoothly. Stop. Thank you.